Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to find out what happens if Arthur messes with Micah when he's at his little hermit camp after breaking him out of jail from Strawberry. So Micah actually goes to this little hermit camp just to like the north of Strawberry after the mission Blessed Are the Meek. This is when you break him out of jail, but he doesn't want to return to the gang until he has a peace offering for Dutch. And if you wait for like 24 hours or so and then return back to the Strawberry area, a mission called an American Pastoral Scene will appear where Micah has a little camp there. Now, if you were to go to this camp normally, this is what's supposed to happen.
Hey, Arthur. Good to see you.
Why? You want rescuing again, do you?
No. I got a plan to make it up to you.
Oh, a plan like the Blackwater ferry job, or like you going off scouting and ending up in jail?
Dutch said you was a big shadow cast by a tiny tree.
I don't even know what that means.
I thought you was a tough boy. Not one of those gentlemen trying to protect his riding clothes.
I just know whenever things get real, you turn yellow and lose your head.
Yellow.
Sure seems that way.
So I guess you won't be riding with me to rob the banking coach comes about this time in the Strawberry. I heard one of the O'Driscoll boys yapping about it while I was inside.
You and me? Do a robbery?
That's what I said, didn't I?
After you.
There's a spot up this way with a good view of the trail.
What are you doing anyway, camping out here like some crazy hermit?
Can't exactly stay in town now, can I? Like I told you, I ain't going back to Dutch without a peace offering.
So what happens after that is Arthur and Micah rob a stagecoach basically to bring back to Dutch as a nice peace offering. And that's what's supposed to happen there. Now, once that mission happens, you can actually go back up to his camp and you can actually find a lot of cool stuff like a wanted poster for Dutch and some information on the Blackwater ferry heist. I'll leave a link to a video I did covering that in the description so you can check it out if you want. But I wanted to find out what would happen if we did some experiments while Micah was still at the camp. So as you guys know, recently I've been doing a lot of experiments with Micah's body, the one that you can actually take off of the top of Mount Hagen at the end of the game. And so I was sort of thinking, well, what happens if we were able to quote unquote kill Micah Bell so that we could bring his body back to Dutch or something like that? That would just be hysterical. So the first experiment that I tried was using fire bottles. So I positioned myself on top of the cliff where Micah would spawn in, but I would not trigger the mission, and I threw fire bottles all around him. And what happened is he got on his horse and he immediately took off. So he vanished super fast as soon as I tried to throw those fire bottles at him. Now, I wasn't too sure where he ultimately went. We're actually going to catch up with him a little bit later on, but that was an interesting first experiment. He didn't necessarily die by the fire, but instead just got up and left. So I was thinking that he might have been invincible or I had really, really bad aim. So that's another reason why I wanted to try this again to see if I could this time either have a better aim or figure out what's really going on here. So we came back once again, and just like last time, I threw fire bottles. Now this time I tried to be way more accurate, and these fire bottles landed right on Micah. And they didn't do a thing. He was able to just get up and walk away. And it seems that even his horse is resistant to the fire because when he got on there, not only did the fire bottles hit the horse, but he was able to ride straight through it. So it seems as if Micah is 100% invincible. And then even aiming at him after that occurs, you still cannot inflict any damage on him. Now, after this happened, I tried to catch up to him, but Micah had taken off really quickly, and I had no idea where he'd gone. Surely he wouldn't have gone back to Strawberry, but that seems the direction he sort of took off in. So I was a little bit confused, slightly disappointed that we couldn't do any damage to him, but I was still confident that we could have some more luck with some future experiments. So what I did is I went back and I did something very, very similar. This time I got a lot closer to Micah though. Like, I was still thinking that maybe I was just doing something wrong. And I also noticed that he had a lantern right behind his camp. So what I did was I shot the lantern first, and then I quickly brought out the fire bottles. But again, the same thing happened. He was able to go unscathed and just ran away. So lighting Micah on fire has become incredibly difficult and incredibly challenging and a little bit frustrating as well. So what we did is we loaded back up once again. And by the way, what I've done for this entire time is I have saved like right before this mission. So I can just like go back and keep trying this again. So if this is something you would like to do, I really recommend you try that so that you don't have to like, wait for Micah to come back to his camp. Who knows how long that could take. So what I ended up doing this time for my next experiment is getting even closer to Micah. Like, we are literally just on the ledge above him. And when we throw the fire bottle at him, he doesn't even react. Like, it's like it doesn't even hurt him, which is insane. He even takes the time to yell at us and say, what are you doing, Morgan? And then he ultimately rides away. So I was pretty frustrated by this because obviously I didn't want Micah to escape. And the next time we did this, I was going to follow him to see where he would actually go. So that was the experiment I wanted to do next. So this time, instead of throwing fire bottles at him, what I did was I got on my horse and I just simply shot around his area. I didn't want to kill him or hurt him, but I wanted him to sort of flee like what he was doing. And so we decided to follow him. I wanted to find out where Micah was ultimately going when he rode away. And at first, it really did look like he was heading back to Strawberry. I was like, Micah, what are you doing? You just broke out of jail there. We have a huge bounty on our heads. I legitimately thought he was going to go back to Strawberry. And then he sort of does a 180 and goes the complete opposite direction. So I don't know where Micah was headed here. He's really fast. He does stop for trains, as you guys will see, but I don't think he had a particular direction. I think he was just trying to run away from Arthur. I don't know if he would eventually go back to his camp or whatnot, but eventually Micah just sort of goes off on his own. So he doesn't look like he goes to a specific location. Now, I wasn't done there yet as far as my experiments go. I wanted to try something else, dynamite. So I figured if fire bottles weren't doing the trick, well, maybe I could kill him with the explosion of dynamite. So what I did is I traveled to the Emerald Ranch fence, and I was able to pick up some sticks of dynamite, and I returned to Micah's hideout. And now we are going to try the exact same experiment, but this time with dynamite. So I threw the dynamite down at Micah, and the explosion did not faze him. He was completely unaffected by it. In fact, he just got up and went on his horse. His horse is unaffected by it too. So if fire bottles and dynamite can't kill Micah Bell at his little hermit camp, then I don't know what can. I feel like I've tried every experiment under the sun. Some of you guys have messaged me and said that this has been successful for you. You've been able to light him on fire and then take his body wherever. I did not have any luck doing that. So maybe I was doing something wrong. Maybe you guys encountered a really strange glitch. I'm not too sure. Now, if you guys are interested in what Micah Bell actually has at his camp while it's still active, like before the mission. So what I did was I scared him away, but I didn't follow him. He does actually have some provisions that you can take. He's got like a pickaxe. He's got some ground coffee, some crackers, and some fruit. So even though Micah was living like a hermit, he was still having a pretty healthy lifestyle. Fruit, crackers, coffee. Can't go too wrong with that. But there isn't any other documents or anything that you can find up here. Like I mentioned earlier, that wanted poster and that information on the Blackwater Ferry job will only appear once he tears down his camp after this mission. So it definitely is a little bit unfortunate that I wasn't able to do anything with Micah in terms of fire bottles or dynamites. Weapons didn't hurt him. His horse is invincible. I guess it makes sense. It would be super awkward for you to carry the body of Micah Bell over your shoulder back to camp. So as far as the timeline and the story goes, I understand why the game wouldn't allow us to do that. But either way, it was a pretty fun experiment, and I think most of us can get a kick out of throwing fire bottles and dynamite at Micah Bell. But as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. And of course, anytime I try something in game, I'd love for you to try it as well. Let me know what happens if you decide to do this. Maybe you'd be more successful if you used volatile dynamite, or maybe if you like trap him in or something like that. Who knows? That's why I always encourage you guys to try your own experiments as well. And as always, if you want me to test something else in the future or look at other secrets or mysteries, please be sure to let me know on my Facebook page. I'll leave a link to that in the description. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next video.